The former Egyptian president, Hosni Mubarak, has appeared in court, 3 days after being released from prison and placed under house arrest. Mr Mubarak is facing a retrial on charges of complicity in the killing of protesters during the 2011 uprising. He sat in the defendants' cage along with his 2 sons, former interior minister, and 6 security chiefs. Earlier, the separate trial of the Muslim Brotherhood's general guide and his 2 deputies was adjourned. The court convened briefly and made its decision because Mohammed Badie, Khairat al-Shater and Rashad Bayoumi were absent for security reasons. Their presence was requested for the trial's resumption on 29 October. The Brotherhood leaders face charges of inciting the murder of protesters who stormed the Islamist movement's headquarters in Cairo on 30 June as millions took to the streets demanding the resignation of Mr Mubarak's democratically elected successor, Mohammed Morsi. Mr Morsi was deposed by the military 3 days later. He is being detained while prosecutors investigate allegations related to his escape from prison during the uprising that forced Mr Mubarak from power, including that he conspired with the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Helicopter. On Sunday, Mr Mubarak appeared in the dock inside the high-security courtroom at the police academy on the eastern outskirts of Cairo, sitting in a wheelchair, wearing a white tracksuit and dark sunglasses. The 85-year-old was reportedly flown by helicopter to the court from a military hospital where he has been held under house arrest since his release from prison on Thursday. Mr Mubarak was sentenced to life in prison in June 2012 after being found guilty of complicity in the killing of hundreds of protesters. His former interior minister, Habib Aldli, also received a life sentence, but the security chiefs were acquitted. The former president and his sons, Allah and Gamal, were cleared of separate charges of corruption relating to a gas export deal at the same trial because of the statute of limitations. In January 2013, the Court of Cassation accepted appeals against their convictions by Mr Mubarak and Mr Badie and ordered a retrial of all the defendants. Their supporters had noted that the original trial judge had said there was no evidence linking Mr Mubarak to the shooting of protesters. Their retrial began in May, but it has been repeatedly adjourned for various reasons, prompting claims from pro-democracy activists and representatives of the victims that the judges and defense team were dragging out proceedings to avoid a verdict. On Thursday, Mr Mubarak was moved from a prison cell to house arrest at the hospital in Madi, ending more than 2 years of incarceration. It came a day after a court ruled that he could no longer be detained in relation to a separate corruption case that alleges he accepted gifts from the state-run publisher, Al-Ram. He has already served the maximum time allowed in custody in connection to the complicity case. Under President Morsi, state prosecutors brought new charges when courts ordered Mr Mubarak's release to ensure he was kept in detention. Allah and Gamal Mubarak are being held on multiple corruption charges.